Hi everyone, thanks for joining our event today. Today's topic is transformation of a gaming company to a Web3 company. This is Ling from eCloudvalley. I am customer success specialist from eCloudvalley, and we are glad to invite our special speaker, Lokie Tam from Animoca brands. Thanks, Lokie.
Hi, Ling. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me today. Maybe I can do a quick introduction of myself. So I'm Lokie from Animoca Brands. I'm from the business development team. I'm with Animoca for more than 3 years. So I myself is also a gamer. I play games in my leisure time, and then also collector myself. So I like to collect different like physical figurine. And so you actually will find this gaming and collecting elements somehow related to my interest or career in NFT. And also, I'm coming from the wine industry before I joined Animoca. So you find a like interesting background myself. So let's take a look at the agenda today. I think Ling will firstly introduce about eCloudvalley, and then I will talk about Animoca brands and maybe how NFT works. Give a quick intro of NFT, and then I will talk about how gaming and NFT is related because we have like different play to earn and metaverse elements. And also I will take a deeper look and walk you guys through the sandbox. And I think the last question will be maybe you guys were curious like how cloud technology can actually help future development of Web3. So let's get this going.
Sure. Before starting today's topic, let me have a quick introduction on eCloudvalley. eCloudvalley is a born-in-the-cloud partner focused entirely on AWS service, and we are the first and only publicly listed. In 2020 and 2021, we were also ranked among Asia Pacific high growth companies by Financial Times. We were ranked on the Deloitte Technology 500 Asia Pacific in 2018 and 2019. We are a notable vendor for public cloud infrastructure MSP in the APAC region on Gartner. We are the first GCR Premier Consulting Partner of AWS. We have grown to over 500 employees with geographic footprints across the APAC region in Singapore, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Taiwan, China, and the United States, and etc. We have built a professional technical team with over 500 AWS certification and have served over 1,000 enterprises to perform any digital transformation. We started AWS business in 2014 and obtained the status of AWS Managed Service Partner in 2016. We also passed several professional competencies, proving that our cloud solutions are effective and reliable. Our core competency include Premier Tier Service Partner, data solution, machine learning, cloud migration, DevOps, SAP, security, managed service provider, cloud training, and etc. To provide one-stop solution for cloud transformation, such as cloud managed service, cloud migration, cost optimization, cloud data platform, DB freedom, SAP consultancy, and etc. For cloud managed service, we can help to control customers' cloud platform, including migration, maintenance, cost optimization, operation management, and 24/7 help desk support. For cloud migration, we can help customers move the data center capability into the cloud or migrate from different cloud providers to AWS. For cost optimization, we can help customers to reduce cloud costs, but also maximize the business value of using the cloud. For example, providing RI and saving plan recommendations. And also, we provide CloudFront program, we can offer a special rate of the cloud run service. Let us know what you are interested in, and I believe that we can help you to use better AWS. Let's back to today's topic. It's about NFT and gaming company. Let's give a big hand again to our special guest, Lokie. Thank you.
So after hearing from Lane, let me jump straight to the point. But before talking about NFT, let me give you guys a quick introduction of Animoca Brands. So we're Animoca Brands, one of the top 5 blockchain gaming companies in the world. And actually, we're a Hong Kong company. A lot of people haven't heard of us before, but they know about Sandbox, about our collaboration with maybe HSBC, NTR. But actually, Animoca Brands, we are a Hong Kong company. Apart from the Hong Kong headquarters, you can take a look at the map. So we have actually branch offices all over the world, from New York, San Francisco to Argentina, Finland, France. So we actually operate almost 24 hours. So globally, we're more than 650 people, although still expanding. And this is our board of directors. You may recognize a few familiar faces, such as Yasu, Robio, because they are always in different sharing, different interviews, talk about NFTs and property ownership. So if you look at the rest of the team, with Sebastian or Benjamin, we actually have a very strong gaming DNA from these team members. And if you look further to our history, actually we started the entire business in 1998. At that time, we call Outblaze. So we're one of the top email service provider at that time. And the business is actually doing quite well. And around 9 years of time, we sell the business to IBM. And at that time, different smartphones came out. App Store is very popular. And that's why we put ourselves into business of like doing different mobile apps. In around 8 to 9 years of time, we have actually built more than 800 apps, including like self-developed titles like Stargirls, Pipette Salon, and including some of the IP collaboration game like Ultraman, Garfield, Doraemon. So we like to work with different brands, even while we're doing mobile games. And then starting from around 2017, we realized that blockchain is getting more popular, and there's actually a strong potential for gaming and blockchain to go together. That's why from 2017, we started to partner with Dapper Labs. We actually invest in them. So at that time, what we call the first blockchain game, CryptoKitties, is out, and then we help them to publish the game. And the amazing journey of blockchain with Animoca actually start from there, all the way from 2017. And after that, we start to acquire different companies or studios that we think is potential. Pixel being one of them, which the team is also now being known as the Sandbox. So if you look at further in the history from 2017, we acquire different companies, but also work with different brands. For example, like F1, MotoGP, Formula E, Manchester City. So from motorsport to like sports in general, to traditional IPs like Smurf, Care Bears. So we continue the role of like working with different IPs because we think the reach of these brands, their followers, is actually the best target to bring on board to blockchain and NFT. So if you look further down the road, you can see the activities is actually much more rapid. So actually, if you take a look at the Animoca Brands website or Facebook, we're actually having an announcement almost every day. So you can see from different partnerships to different investment. So we're actually very active in the space at the moment. So this is a quick overview of our key business units. The Hong Kong team is actually building what we call the Rev Motorsport in the middle, including different titles like Rev Racing, MotoGP Mission. But apart from the Hong Kong office, what we're building, we also have Gamey, who operates a casual game platform called R8. So people can go into the platform, play mini games, and compete with each other to earn cryptocurrency. And we have the Quid. Quid is a marketplace for digital collectibles. People can collect different stickers from different brands, and they can convert it into NFT later. And Sandbox is one of our core projects. I guess a lot of you have heard of the name Sandbox. Just like a voxelized virtual world, very much like Minecraft, but just with the NFT element. And people can come to play different experience. You can play and earn some sand token. Also, Bonnie is also working on different solutions, including how brands can actually launch NFT which can interoperate across different metaverses. And then we have Blowfish and Amway, two of the AAA gaming studios that that within our ecosystem. That's why I mentioned several times that we actually having a very strong gaming DNA deep in our blood. And if you look at Pixel and Towers, they're doing like different mobile games. Also have Limpo doing a sports marketplace. And recently, we also announced the acquisition of Darewise, which is a metaverse focusing on different playing experience. And then we have Eden Games, which is also Grace Monkey. These two are studios that is focusing or specializing in different driving games. They will also be in part of the REM ecosystem. So you can see we're actually actively expanding as long as we see potential in that game and studios or projects, and we share the same vision of like building like NFTs or bringing true digital ownership to players. So this is like the operation part of Animoca brands, but also we also, like I mentioned before, we invest a lot. So in this circle, you can actually recognize a lot of like different famous brands. For example, like OpenSea, the largest Ethereum marketplace, we also actually invest in them. And Dub Labs, the company or team behind the Flow blockchain and NBA Top Chart, is also working with us very closely. And so you can see, actually from this chart, you can see not only we invest in gaming projects, but also we invest a lot in the infrastructure, right? From marketplaces to infrastructure, to DeFi system, to crypto wallets, to metaverse. So this is what we are, I would say we actually investing in the future of the industry. It's not only one or two companies, but we are actually want to build an ecosystem that people can come from wallet creation to using the app to maybe get in touch with like different experience, whether it's gaming or decentralized finance. So we're actually putting our faith in all this in the world of Web3 in general, I would say. So as Animoca brands, one of the core mission for us is to bring digital ownership to users. So let's see how we can do it via NFT, but also before talking about NFT, we can't touch nothing on blockchain. So I guess a lot of you might already know what is blockchain, but maybe just let me also give a quick summary of what blockchain is. So you can actually see blockchain as an encrypted digital ledger where all the transactions will be very transparent through the maintaining of different nodes. So this is like the more node there are, the more decentralized that blockchain is. So you can just see blockchain as that like digital ledger where you can see the transactions very transparently. This is also the like features of blockchain: decentralization, very transparent. Yeah, so this is what blockchain is, and you can see on that blockchain or on any blockchain what we can transfer, what is data that is being transferred. We can divide it into two types, what we call fungible and non-fungible. And NFT actually stands for non-fungible token. So the idea of fungible is actually like currency, right? So if I give you $100 and then you return me $100, so we actually even, right? Because the two $100 carries the same value. So this is fungible, like any currency or cryptocurrency, they are all fungible. And for non-fungible, the idea is opposite, saying all the items is unique in nature or in value. For example, if I have a painting of Picasso, I give it to you, but then while you return to me, you return me a painting of Mona Lisa, right? So a painting of Picasso and a painting of Mona Lisa, they are also painting, but actually the value may not be the same. Same example as like a concert ticket. So if I'm going to Mira's concert and I have a ticket of the first row, which is supposed to be quite valuable, right? And then you have a ticket, same is also Mira's concert, but the last row. So if we exchange, it's not even. I'm not going to do that, right? Because the value is definitely different, although they're all like concert ticket. And this is the idea of fungible, meaning maybe there are some attribute or there is some content of the item which makes the value different. So this is actually the nature of NFT. But after all, technically, NFTs is just a bunch of code, maybe in a smart contract. So that's why we always say NFT can be anything. So if you look at on the screen, there are some like blue chip NFTs in the market. Starting from first row from left, you can see CryptoPunks with the voxel style. You can see Bored Ape with like a cartoon style, and then Azuki facing like different direction, and then Moonbirds. These are all NFTs, and visually they all look different. And apart from this 2D, whether it's pixel or cartoon style, it can also be 3D. If you look at like the Hey Beast, so this is like it's also an app, an ape, but also it is in 3D style. So NFTs can be anything, even like digital property, like the land in Sandbox, just like the membership card for prevent, just like Invisible Friends. This is like um, an image, but in motion, like a GIF, and also it can be a piece of music, like what Hanjin did sell his song through as an NFT. So NFT can have different forms depending on how you structure the content and how you structure metadata. And also it can be something without any utilities, just a piece of art. That's why actually digital art is very tied into NFT. Also because for physical art, there's limitation, right? You can't draw a painting which is dynamic, moving. You can't do it in physical world. But with digital art and NFT, you can draw some or you can create some dynamic or different like motion pictures, and then you can put it on put it as an NFT for sale as a piece of digital art, which is completely different from what people can do with physical. And also NFTs can appear pure for the sake of utility. So you can take a look at these like MotoGP game items. Although it also look cool, but the purpose of for these NFTs is actually built for the MotoGP game that we're launching. And also, if you look at the right, this is an Alpine car. Just this look isn't that attractive, but later you can actually race that car in the game. So it's also up to how different environment interpret the NFT, which makes the NFT unique, and also makes a variety of different NFTs. So basically, it can be anything. And also NFTs can be on different chains. All those examples that I mentioned mostly are from Ethereum, but also there are different blockchains that is like in the world, and some of them is even more popular. For example, like Solana, there's more and more different NFT projects doing in Solana. So for example, Bunny Warriors, you may heard of them. Fortune Tigers in the middle up and then we have Lucky Kittens, and also Monkey Kingdoms, right? They all look similar, but also another similarity is that they're all on Solana blockchain. And so right now, everybody is talking about NFT, but then if you look at like how different industry, actually a lot of the brands has already taken the first move to enter the NFT market. For example, you can see Adidas, they bought a piece of land in Sandbox, so they're rebuilding a metaverse, but also they launched their own NFT for into the metaverse. So they started that types of like fan engagement. Same as like Gucci. They launched a collection with super plastic. So you can, if you're a fan of Gucci, you may want to get your hands on this NFT collection as well. And like celebrities like Snoop Dogg or even right? They also launched their own NFT projects to like somehow engage with their fans. Same as different football clubs. So Liverpool just did a drop with Sophie and on different like what they call the hero clubs, different NFTs that may be wearing the Liverpool jerseys. So you can see people from whether it is like fashion industry or sports brands or different celebrities, they're all jumping into this market of NFTs. So same for different brands, not only doing NFT, but also they're interested or they want to have a presence in the metaverse. Example would be HSBC and MTR. They both bought a piece of land, building some experience in a sandbox to engage with their fan. Although all these brands, they might have different purpose for doing this. That's also what I want to maybe help you to brainstorm a bit more today. Because whether you're a business owner or your brand, if you are interested to do NFT, I think these are several questions you should ask yourself. Primary one being like what do you want to achieve at the end? Is it for revenue? Because knowing launching NFT can bring a good handsome amount of like revenue. Is it like you trade the NFT as a digital collectible and merchandise, same as physical, right? But just maybe instead of launching a physical bag, maybe Gucci is launching a digital version of the bag. Maybe you'll be interested as a Gucci fan. But then from Gucci's perspective, what do they actually want? Is it just the revenue because they're selling additional items? Or is it like brand building? They want to show to like the public that our brand is more innovative. We want to maybe get a closer connection with our young audience. Or is it like fan engagement? A lot of these football clubs, as either they launch fan token or they launch different NFTs collections. They want to do it in the purpose of like engaging with their fans, because NFTs is also a very community-driven business. So we always talk about how do we reward the fans that actually bought the collection, right? So I think these are some of the elements or reasons why different people or brands start to do NFT. But this is also important for you if you want to start your own NFT business, because you have to, like, if you are a user, ask yourself, why would you want to buy the collection? Is there anything that attractive? Is it the art, or is it the utility behind, or is it the like the identity? Maybe if I'm a Liverpool fan, whatever Liverpool is launching, I'm buying because I'm a fan. So this type of like identity or sense of belonging, or is it or if you want to start the business for NFT, is it a business that purely around the ownership of asset? This actually brings the sharing to the next section. This actually connect to the reason why gaming and blockchain is perfect match. because gaming is actually a business built around asset, the ownership of assets. So a few examples will be if you look at Fortnite, um, people buy different skin and then to keep playing in the game. Of course, the game is fun, but also they want to maybe have an awesome skin so that while they're playing with friends, they have like some like cool stuff to show off, right? Or maybe if you look at League of Legends, you can buy different heroes and use it in the game. And of course, they will be also like skins of the heroes. But after all, like acquiring a new hero, you can use maybe the skills or maybe different special like bonus from that hero, right? And if you look at like other mobile games like Puzzle and Dragon, it's a pretty old game, but I love playing it at that time. But while playing P&D, you need to collect different heroes. So all these like heroes is actually asset in the game. But if you think deeply, whether it is Fortnite or LOL or P&D, all these assets never belongs to you. Although you might spend your money to buy it, although you might spend time playing it, but all this never belongs to you. They all belongs to the game company. So let's say if the game companies decide not to operate tomorrow, you actually lose everything. And as a gamer, we feel sad about this because this is not the best scenario for us, right? And that's why we think gaming and blockchain is actually very similar in that sense that you have the currency, you can name it virtual currency in the game. And but just now, for maybe like a play to earn game or any NFT gaming projects, we're using cryptocurrency. They're also virtual. So in a sense that virtual currency is actually no different from a cryptocurrency, but just the fact that we can somehow take it out from the game and maybe trade it somewhere, maybe in centralized exchange or decentralized exchange. So actually cryptocurrency is just like virtual currency, but like additional utilities. So asset I mentioned before, all those skins, game skins, heroes, these are our virtual assets that live in the game. But now with NFTs, it will still live in the game, but also, but just we give them an added layer of utilities that it can be taken out from the game, and maybe it can be traded in, let's say, marketplaces like OpenSea. That's why we think there's actually a in nature, it's very similar to talk about whether it's traditional gaming with blockchain gaming. And that's why we think gaming and blockchain is actually a perfect match because gamers already understood all these. And especially for NFTs, because everything is so transparent on blockchain, smart contract, like how big the collection is, how many rare item it is. These are all very transparent. I mean, to a gamers, it's actually quite useful compared to when I play P&D. Maybe I get some rare heroes, but I actually don't know if it is really that rare because it's not transparent at all. All the data is just kept in the hands of the game company. That's why now with NFTs, we have this like verified scarcity that can like prove the value of the asset, but also to prove the ownership of the asset, which in our case, the users, we own these NFTs. If you take a deeper look at the audience, you can see actually the gaming audience is very similar to the crypto audience, the cryptocurrency audience. So for gaming, it's like male-oriented, slightly more than 60%. And then for cryptocurrency, if you look at the chart below from Gemini, a lot of these crypto users, whether it's cryptocurrency or NFT, they are actually male. And actually we're seeing a growth on the female part, but still as of now, still seems that more male is like into the market. And in terms of like demographics, a lot of the gamers will be like Gen Z or millennial because they're young, they love gaming, And also, if you look at the gaming, the demographics of crypto audience, it's also actually pretty similar. Because maybe from the age of like 15 to 18 to 34, they actually are tech savvy enough to understand what blockchain or what NFT is, but also they have the necessary spending power for coming to like playing different play their own games or actually spending money on NFTs. So I think, and that's why you can see um, blockchain and gaming actually is like a perfect match. That's why we like deep in our heart we believe gaming can help blockchain to do mass adoption. Um, and if you look at the gaming industry in general, so actually from or up to 2021, there's actually more than 2.7 billion gamers in the world. So it's a huge number. And if you compare to the like number of people who has cryptocurrency, although it's increasing, but I believe the number is not there yet. So meaning there's still a huge room for us to grow our crypto audience to maybe to let traditional gamers game. And also, if you look at the monetary value of like video gaming as a business in general, it is a business of nearly 200 billion. So imagine if we are just doing like even passive, very not optimistic guess, just 1% of the conversion, we can have like 2 billion revenue for blockchain gaming. And not to forget, don't forget, in the traditional model, the players, while they're playing the game, they have no stake, they own nothing in the game, but still, this is a 200 billion business. And imagine nowadays, we let these gamers know now you can own the asset, and you can after you finish the game, you can trade it to other people, you can transfer it to other game. So the potential is actually much higher because with that in place, they might be even more willing to spend money in different games because they can take it back later. So we believe, that being said, there's actually a huge potential for blockchain gaming or NFT gaming in general. Just look at the previous example of how video gaming is doing. That's good. So I've done a lot of talking, so maybe now it's time to showcase a bit of the games that may be built by Animoca brands. So referencing one of our like flagship game, it is a play-to-earn game. You need to spend some graph token playing it, but also you can look at the quality. It's actually no different from a traditional driving game, but just the car that you're looking at that is racing is an NFT that you need to buy or you need to get somewhere from the market. But then after all, after you finish the game, these cars can be traded. And also, not only the car, but actually we are having different tracks as NFT as well. So I mean, you can collect a piece of the track, which is it's a more actually complicated economic model because we're actually allowing these owners of these track entities to earn a stake in the game. But just broadly speaking, this is a play-to-earn game, racing game that is actually we see a lot of potential there. We're also working with different car manufacturers. I can't mention them in here, but we're also working with different track partners. So the goal is you can race different car you like on different tracks you like, and everything will be done on an NFT environment. I mean, if you have chance, please feel free to try it. And the next game that I want to show today is actually Axie Infinity. You may heard of them before. It's actually one of the most popular blockchain game in the market, even right now. So you can see these cute creatures called Axies, and they're fighting with each other on a three versus three format, just like a bit like Pokemon actually, but then you collect different axes, you collect these NFTs, and then with different axes you have different cards, different skills, and you can choose to deploy whatever skills you like to try to like beat your opponents. So this is actually quite popular, also especially in the Asia, the East Asia region, like Philippines, Vietnam, because people are they have a lot of time. They want to like use they want to gain some or even earn living just through playing these NFT games. And in fact, they did. If you look at the news, a lot of people during the pandemic time, while they didn't lose their job, but they also could be able to earn living just by playing these NFT games, collecting these NFTs. So this is actually good for us, as this is what we actually wanted to achieve. And also, this is the upcoming, I would say, one of the most anticipated title in the market. Phantom Galaxy is a original title that developed by Blowfish, our studios in Australia. And then just look at the trailer, look at the high quality of the asset. So this is like what I've seen the best quality in terms of blockchain gaming in the market. So we will be launching this game very soon. But this is just a trailer for you to take a look at how good the game could be. So do pay attention to what's coming for Phantom Galaxy, because this is going to be huge. Like before, like I mentioned, CryptoKitties, like first blockchain game, but actually it's not really that game, I would say. But after like 2 3 years of time, now we're starting to see in the market there's like more games with like good quality which is coming. So I'll probably stop here. Although I know the traders is attractive, but I'll probably jump through the gaming part to also metaverse, because actually to us NFT is very much tied to metaverse. That's why I always say we're having, like, as Animoca brands, we're having our own definition of metaverse. If you look at the news, people will say, oh, we have the Roblox metaverse, with the Minecraft metaverse. But to us, without blockchain, without NFT, it is not metaverse at all, but just virtual world. So, right? If you look at like Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, while you're playing, you're actually in virtual worlds, like different games, virtual worlds. In that game, you might have like virtual space or having like virtual avatar or asset. Usually, it is on a gaming environment, maybe sometimes with the VR goggle as well. But all these elements, it's just they did created this virtual world, but not necessarily metaverse, because we do feel that only with blockchain NFT, only with the ownership, the true ownership of these assets, then you can call that metaverse. Because this is also important, right? Having control, having the true ownership of your item that you can use, that you can trade in that environment. Because otherwise, it's just not that interesting. And also, for metaverses, we also start to see different interoperabilities. Meaning, if you have one NFT from one game, you can actually use it in other games as well. So one item being used in multiple platforms, games, that kind of interoperabilities is also what we're looking for metaverses. Because imagine you're playing all these games from PlayStation or Xbox, interoperability never exists, right? So for metaverses, we're actually looking at the blockchain and NFT part. That's why we're not agreeing that Roblox is a metaverse, because Roblox is just a closed environment. But comparatively, Sandbox is much more open. So there's actually start to be more and more different metaverses in market, and here I actually highlighted different functions or features that you actually see in different metaverse. Gaming being the most primary one that we're seeing a lot of different metaverses. They also have this gaming element because I think this is where the traditional gamers will come in, right? That's why I think it makes sense, right? And also for digital gallery, a lot of these metaverses can allow people to somehow display the NFT and maybe create a social hub based on that. Also creating maybe a place where different events can happen, maybe like virtual concert or just a place where people can socialize. There's also a lot of different metaverses focusing on. And also not to mention, don't forget the VR element, although we don't see it as a very short term because I mean, for VR to popular, we still have a long way to go because I mean, if you look at the number of people that have the VR goggle, I believe it's not a lot. That's why for like using VR in metaverse, we expect maybe in the let's say 5 to 10 years. But then the rest of the features is pretty ready in the existing metaverses. Let's say. So the next I will talk a bit. I'll talk about Sandbox in a more deeper manner. Let's take a deeper look on how Sandbox work. The Sandbox is being an open metaverse. It is originally built on the Ethereum blockchain, but now we start to incorporate the Polygon chain as well. So this is a decentralized metaverse where people can build different content, people can build different experience, and everything is powered by the Sand token. And you can see different brands actually start to get in this metaverse as well. And if you are a creator, you can maybe try our Fox Edit or the Game Maker. So you can say like the core Sandbox experience is composed by these three elements. Where with the Fox Edit, you can create NFT. With the Game Maker, you can use this NFT to build different experience. And with the marketplace, you can actually trade your NFTs. So if you are a creator, do feel free to see if you can like interact with these products and to get a sense of like how Sandbox will look like in the future. And also, if you are a player or if you're an investor, you can take a look at the investment element of the Sandbox because in the Sandbox we have a map, right, around 144 pieces of land in total. That's it, not anymore. And now, no, sorry, it's actually 166. But we can see people can buy this digital asset, digital land on marketplace. We also launch different public sale where different people, like whether you are a brand or individual players, you can also get your hands in all these digital asset. That's why this is like another aspect of openness, right? Because all these assets are tradable in secondary market. Anyone can come in. So this is actually very open in that sense. And if you are a brand, you might want to see how the approach that you can take for building stuff in the Sandbox. So first of all, you might want to get a piece of land. That's actually the basic of everything. Because with that piece of land, you can start building different NFTs. You can start building different experience. And the end goal for if you're a brand, maybe if you want to achieve like fan engagement, you can have different show experience to engage with your friends, maybe like different concert or different social hub. So this is what you will be looking at, right? And also another angle of openness is that we believe the Sandbox, I mean, as Animoca or as Sandbox team, we know that we can't do everything, right? So we're having that like user-generated platform approach for all position for Sandbox, so that we actually encourage different people, whether it is gaming studios or individual artists, to actually try to create for us. And that's why we're having the fund to support our creative economy. And right now, there's actually a lot of different teams and talented artists building for us. So we're not building anything, but vice versa, we're letting the community to build for us, to build what they want. So this is another like aspect of openness, and also like from the technical perspective, you can see actually all our smart contracts are open source. So we're not afraid of any like competition. We welcome, because we do believe in the value of like true ownership and openness, where we can grow the space together. So within the Sandbox ecosystem, all the land, avatar, objects or wearables, these are our NFTs, and you can build a game on top of that. And yeah, like I mentioned, everything is open source. So a few more examples to show how Sandbox NFTs looks like. So different functions, you can see like healing, or having dinosaurs, soldiers. So this is actually very game ready logic that we're having in the Sandbox platform. That's why you can see actually a lot of different um, parties or projects that actually building a more gamified experience within Sandbox. And then also we have different brands. Apart from Adidas that I mentioned before, we also have like Walking Dead, or this like traditional Smurf, or this like traditional brands that came in, or like from the music side with their mouse or Snoop Dogg, and then on the sports side with Man City. And also, I think this worth to highlight is that it actually also explain another angle of openness, is that we love to collaborate with other NFT projects in the market. So you can see Cybercons, you can see like CryptoPunks. We actually work with a lot of different NFT projects, so that they can bring their NFTs to the Sandbox. And this also give maybe additional utilities to the holders, for the NFT holders, but also we are showing openness, that what we want to build is actually an open metaverse, where anyone, any brand, any projects can just come in and have fun. So maybe I can share a bit, or actually I'll let you enjoy this trailer for, you can take a look what Snoop Dogg will be building in the metaverse. So everything that you're seeing is NFTs, from a chair to a stadium. All these are NFTs that they can find in the Sandbox marketplace. Now, really, it's just up to your creativity on like what types of experience you want to build. But like having a social hub where you can socialize with your friends, or maybe with Snoop Dogg himself, is something that we'll be looking at in the future. And you can maybe after going into that event, you can collect Snoop's NFT avatar as well, being part of the experience or identity. Maybe you're a big fan of him, then why not just getting one NFT, right? Because he himself is also a huge like car collectors. That's why we're actually putting all these elements into the Sandbox experience, which will be open very soon to the public, so you can actually walk yourself on all these experience. And yeah, for Sandbox, gaming is always very important because of our gamer DNA. And so you can take a look at different experience can be built within the Sandbox, like different fighting, whether it is PvP or PvE. these are always doable in Sandbox. And also, as you're seeing, there will be different quests, so you can further strengthen the gaming experience through different quests that you can put in the game, and you can like have a storyline to ask players or to tell to let players know how to finish the experience. And the next one that I want to show is a Hong Kong experience that built by one of our team from the index game, and they're like try to um, mimic the Kowloon War City setting within the sandbox. So you can see a very interesting like cyberpunk style. Um, imagine like imagine Hong Kong in a different world. Kowloon War City. Right? So this is actually quite exciting and quite creative in the sense that you can create whatever not impossible in reality, but you can do it in the metaverse, right? Um, so let me jump to my next to this section to talk about how cloud technology can support future development in Web3. Um, and actually, if you look at the relationship between blockchain and cloud, it's actually quite straightforward, right? For blockchain, we use it to verify ownership. So maybe we use Ethereum network, and then all the entities will be on Ethereum. We can always verify the ownership there. But if you think deeply, apart from that, we still need to rely a lot on cloud because let's say if I'm doing a minting page or if I'm having a gaming page, all this website front end, back end, or the gaming server, all this still has to be done on the website, which is what we call off-chain. It's not on-chain, so it's off-chain. Um, and maybe if there's some data that we want to collect from the off-chain website, or even some of the content of the NFT, um, we might be able to actually store it on a off-chain server, although this is not the way to prefer because to some of these people, like decentralized is very important. So they're also decentralized server where you can store different NFT data. But in general, outside NFT environment, all these interactions with the website, with the gaming engine, all this still needs to be done on cloud. And also, especially for a sizable company like us, for as Animoca, we have different projects, right? We have Birth Racing, we have Tower, we have Sandbox, and we have maybe Phantom Galaxy. So all these different projects or elements still need the support from cloud, and that's why some people might think that, oh, cloud or blockchain, is it a like enemy of cloud? Actually, it is not. But actually, in the other way around, um, blockchain also need cloud in order to like do mass adoption, to create different use cases, to create different experience for our users. And jumping back to the like advantage of using cloud is that it's much more elastic and it's much more flexible because let's say if I'm doing a web racing, I don't know how many users will be there, and that's why with the cloud I can always or I can easily adjust for on back end. So let's say when many users plug in, I have some way to, let's say, upgrade my plan or to add more machines to make it scalable. And I think not apart from scalability, but also security, right? I don't think a lot of us is actually maintaining our own data center or hosting our own server in the company. And that's why I think these are like traditional or like usual advantage of like benefits for using cloud. But actually just want to make a point that it is still valid in the Web3 environment because like my CTO always said electricity or computing is actually some resources we need to spend in the company as well, right? That's why we're working with like partners like ECV. We actually getting these services from them, so that it's actually like electricity as a service. So this is also to bear in mind. So just to wrap up this part, I would say NFT and Web3 is definitely interesting. The fact that we can verify ownership through the blockchain is like very interesting or very innovative in our life. But also outside of these entities, we need to build different experience, whether it's gaming or metaverse. We still actually need support, actually, and a very strong support indeed from different cloud services. So hopefully this explanation can help you to understand a bit more about the relationship between cloud and the blockchain NFT. And I would love to see if there's any questions that we can, I mean, that I can able to help to answer.